A very good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in. I extend a warm welcome to all of you to this evening's webinar on a highly pertinent topic, that is threat intelligence, complying with the new ISO 27001-2022 control and the other regulatory compliances. So I guess people are still joining in. So let us wait for a couple of minutes more and then we'll begin with the webinar. So I guess now we can begin with the session. So once again, I would like to extend my greetings to all of you for joining this session today. Thank you for joining in. So let us begin with the session and the webinar. So this webinar is on the topic threat intelligence complying with the new ISO 27001-2022 control and the other regulatory compliances. We live in an era where cyber threats are evolving at an unprecedented pace, impacting organizations across industries and geographies. In this dynamic landscape, proactive measures such as threat intelligence have become essential for safeguarding sensitive information, maintaining trust, and ensuring compliance with the ever stringent regulatory frameworks. Today's webinar is organized by the Ministry of Security, an institution deeply committed to fostering awareness and building resilience in the face of emerging cyber threats. And this webinar is presented by Cyber SRC Consultancy, an evolving name in the field of cybersecurity, compliances, and threat intelligence. So, before we begin, I understand that all of you would have a lot of queries and doubts, but considering the time crunch that we have, we would request you all to drop down your queries or doubts in the comment section below so that our team can respond at the earliest. Thank you for your understanding and patience in this regard. So, let us move ahead. And before we dive it into the core of today's session, let me introduce you to the speakers for the day. Your first speaker is myself, so let me start by introducing myself. So, my name is Sakshi Sharma, and I am an ISO 27001-2022 lead auditor with a strong academic background in Masters in Forensic Sciences and Bachelor's in Forensic Sciences. I have undergone the specialized training with the BSI for both ISO 27001 and 9001 standards. I bring hands-on experience in conducting comprehensive ISO 27001 audits, including the system audits. In addition, I have been actively involved in providing consultancy services to help organizations achieve compliance with various security standards and frameworks. Currently, I'm working as a consultant at Cyber SRC Consultancy, specializing in risk advisory, where I assist and help the organizations in strengthening their cybersecurity frameworks and ensuring compliance with the global standards. It is my pleasure to be a speaker today, and I look forward to sharing valuable insights on the threat intelligence and compliance. Joining me here is Mr. Suyash Bajpai. So, Suyash is a certified ethical hacker with over 4 years of extensive experience in the field of vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, web application audits, network audits, OS audits, data center audits, and threat hunting. Suyash is proficient with industry leading tools such as Nessus, Nmap, IBM AppScan, Acunetics, etc. Over the years, he has successfully managed complex assignments across a variety of sectors, including insurance, banking, IT, and manufacturing. In addition, his expertise extends to conducting threat hunting and intelligence assessments, making him a valuable asset in the domain of cybersecurity. Now that we have been introduced to the speakers, let me walk you through the agenda for today's webinar. So, we have structured the session to ensure a comprehensive understanding of threat intelligence and its relevance in complying with the ISO 27001 and other regulatory requirements. So, here's what we'll be covering. So, firstly, we'll begin by setting the stage with a clear understanding of what threat intelligence is and why it has become a cornerstone in the modern cybersecurity frameworks. Next, we'll discuss the key challenges organizations face when managing and integrating threat intelligence into their existing cybersecurity practices. Then, we'll explore the latest trends, technologies, and methodologies shaping the threat intelligence landscape today. After this, we'll guide you through the steps to create an effective, scalable, and actionable threat intelligence program tailored to your organization's needs. Then we'll dive into the mandatory requirements for complying with the ISO 27001, focusing on the newly introduced control related to threat intelligence and its alignment with the other regulatory frameworks. Finally, we'll examine the pros and cons of the two approaches of the threat intelligence, that is, manual and automated approaches, to implement threat intelligence, providing practical insights into tools, techniques, and best practices. We'll conclude the session with an Q&A, so feel free to drop down your questions as we progress through the sessions in the comment section below. With that, let's begin by diving into the first topic on our agenda, that is problem statements and challenges. So, herein, let us begin by exploring the problem statements and challenges organizations face in the evolving landscape of cybersecurity. Threat intelligence is crucial for navigating these complexities, and understanding the challenges is the first step towards building a robust program. So, here listed on your screen are some of the most pressing issues that we have. The first one is the expanding attack surface. With the rapid digital transformation and adoption of the cloud computing, remote work, IoT, and mobile platforms, the attack surface has expanded significantly. This growth provides cybercriminals with more entry points, increasing the difficulty of maintaining comprehensive visibility and protection across the environment. The next challenge of the problem statement that we have here is the regulatory risk and compliance. So, the regulatory bodies like ISO, RBI, SEBI, etc., have established strict guidelines for threat detection and response, and failing to comply can result in the legal consequences, fines, and reputational damage. The complexity of aligning multiple compliance mandates with the operational security adds to the challenge. The third one here is the dark and deep web oversight. So the threat actors are leveraging the dark and deep web to plan and execute cyber attacks, trade stolen data, and exploit vulnerabilities. Monitoring these hidden channels to proactively identify potential threats is a major challenge for the organizations with limited resources or expertise. The fourth one here on our list is the cyber threat gaps. So, the traditional cybersecurity solutions often fall short in detecting sophisticated threats like advanced persistent threats, APTs, zero-day vulnerabilities, and insider attacks. Organizations may lack the intelligence needed to predict and respond to these emerging threats effectively. The last one we have in the queue is the brand protection gaps. So, the cyber criminals often target organizational brands through phishing campaigns, domain spoofing, and social media impersonation, which can harm customer trust and reputation. Without a proper threat intelligence mechanism, identifying and mitigating these brand related threats can become a daunting task. So, by addressing these challenges through a structured threat intelligence program, organizations can proactively secure their environments, meet compliance requirements, and safeguard their reputation. With this understanding, let's move on to discuss the current trends in threat intelligence, which are helping organizations tackle these issues more effectively. So, now that we have identified the key challenges, let's take a closer look at the current trends in the threat intelligence and how they are shaping the cybersecurity landscape. Firstly, talking about the ransomware groups and the target geographies. So, we have it according to the stats that the United States remains the primary target for ransomware groups, followed by the United Kingdom and Canada. This sustained focus is driven by factors such as the abundance of high profile targets, the potential for lucrative ransom payouts, and the challenges in dismantling sophisticated ransomware operations. This trend emphasizes the need for robust threat intelligence to predict and mitigate ransomware risk effectively. Talking about the targeted industries, so the technology industry has emerged as the most targeted sector for ransomware, followed closely by the manufacturing industry. Technology firms are high value targets due to their role in providing critical infrastructure, while manufacturing companies are often targeted because of their reliance on an outdated and vulnerable systems, as well as their critical position in the global supply chains. If we talk on a global scale, then globally there has been a staggering 71% increase in cyber attacks leveraging stolen or compromised credentials. This highlights the importance of strong access controls, proactive monitoring, and real time intelligence to identify compromised credentials before they can be exploited. Data theft and leakage have become one of the most significant impacts of cyber incidents, accounting for 32% of the global cyber attacks. Threat actors increasingly target sensitive data, such as customer information and intellectual property, making data protection a critical focus for the threat intelligence programs. Talking about the sectorial insights, so the manufacturing sector leads as the most affected by the cyber incidents, followed by the technology sector, talking on a larger scale. This aligns with the growing trend of attackers targeting industries that play pivotal roles in economy, underscoring the importance of tailoring threat intelligence strategies to the specific sectoral risk. These trends highlight the pressing need for organizations to adopt advanced and proactive threat intelligence strategies. Staying ahead of these evolving threats requires not just awareness but a commitment to implementing actionable intelligence and aligning it with the organization's security goals. Up next, we'll explore how to design an effective threat intelligence program tailored to address these trends and challenges. And here's a short reminder for you that if any one of you has any queries or doubts throughout the session, you can drop us down your query or doubt in the comment section below. Our team will do the best to get back to you at the earliest. So, before diving into the intricacies of designing a threat intelligence program, let us first start with the basics of threat intelligence to establish a clear foundation. So, what is threat intelligence? At its core, threat intelligence is the process of identifying and analyzing the cyber threats. It involves gathering data from various sources, analyzing it to extract actionable insights, and using those insights to safeguard IT and information assets. So, what does intelligence actually offers? So, it basically offers you with the evidence based knowledge. It provides factual and actionable information about the potential threats. Organizations can anticipate and mitigate risk before they escalate into the incidents through the proactive defenses. TI helps understand the methods, motivation, and implication of the cyber threats. Ultimately, threat intelligence empowers organizations to defend against evolving threats by integrating actionable insights into their cybersecurity strategies. Now that we have covered the basics and life cycle of the threat intelligence, let's delve into the key principles that make threat intelligence effective and impactful. These principles form the foundation of any robust threat intelligence program, ensuring it provides value to the organization in combating these cyber threats. So, the first one is the actionable insights. So, the threat intelligence must go beyond raw data. It should provide you with a clear, actionable insights that inform decision making. The information should answer critical questions like what is the threat? How does it impact the organization? What steps can the organizations take to mitigate or respond to it? The actionable intelligence enables organizations to prioritize their defenses and respond effectively to imminent threats. The next one we have here is the contextualization. So the raw data is only valuable when placed within the right context. Contextualization involves understanding who is behind the threat, what are their motivations and objectives, how does this threat relate to your industry, geography, or technology stack. Providing context helps organizations distinguish between the general threats and those specifically targeting their operation. The next one is timeliness. So the cyber threats evolve rapidly, so intelligence must be timely to be effective. Delayed information can render even the most accurate insights useless. As the threat landscape may have already shifted, a well structured threat intelligence program ensures the quick collection, processing, and dissemination of the relevant information to the stakeholders. The last one is the accuracy. So, accurate threat intelligence minimizes false positives and false negatives, ensuring resources are allocated effectively. Accuracy is achieved by validating the data from multiple sources, leveraging reliable tools, and employing skilled analysts to interpret the data. Inaccurate threat intelligence can lead to wasted efforts, unnecessary panic, or missed opportunities to mitigate the real threats. Now, why these principles matter? So, the effectiveness of a threat intelligence program hinges on these principles, and by adhering to them, the organizations can ensure their intelligence efforts deliver relevant, reliable, and timely information to safeguard their critical assets. Moving ahead, as we explore the mandatory requirements for integrating threat intelligence into your cybersecurity strategy, it is important to highlight recent updates in various regulatory frameworks and the standards that emphasize the need for specific solutions and capabilities. These frameworks have become more detailed, particularly when addressing threat intelligence and measures to combat attacks like phishing, rogue, etc. So the updated ISO 27001:2022 standard introduces a specific control for threat intelligence, integrating into the ISMS to assess and manage risk proactively. Similarly, the RBI cybersecurity framework and the other relevant frameworks mandates the implementation of the anti-phishing and anti-rogue solutions to secure financial institutions while promoting the real-time threat intelligence sharing. NABARD's graded approach also requires these solutions for financial institutions, particularly in rural banking, to mitigate phishing and rogue application risk. Additionally, the SEBI Cybersecurity and Cyber Resilience Framework emphasizes the need for anti phishing and anti rogue protection within the securities market alongside continuous threat monitoring and intelligence integration. These frameworks underline the importance of threat intelligence and the need for robust defense mechanisms to safeguard against the evolving cyber threats. Now, let us walk through the key steps to set up an effective threat intelligence program. So, here we have listed down the key steps that an organization should ideally follow. The first one is defining the goals. So, the first step in setting up a TI program is to clearly define what you aim to achieve. Your objectives may include proactively detecting emerging threats, mitigating ongoing threats, enhancing your overall security posture, supporting the incident response and forensic investigations, and ensuring compliance with the relevant regulations. It is important to ask yourself here, firstly, which assets or systems need the most protection? Which threat actors are most likely to target your organization? And lastly, how will you measure the success of your program? Moving on to the next step, which is the data collection. So, to build a comprehensive TI program, you will need data from a variety of sources, which may include open source intelligence, such as blogs, social media, public databases, etc. Closed source intelligence, which may include paid threat intelligence feeds from various providers. Thirdly, human intelligence, which comes from internal staff or external threat intelligence sharing groups. And lastly, technical data, which would include the logs from various devices or sources such as firewalls, IDS, and endpoint security tools. To streamline your data collection, You can automate this process using the threat intelligence platforms. Then we have the process for analyzing the data. So once the data is collected, it is crucial to establish a framework for analysis. You can use various models like MITRE, ATT, and CK framework on the diamond model to gain insights into the threat landscape. The analysis should cover different levels, such as tactical, wherein you would be focusing on the indicators of compromises, such as IP addresses, hashes, and domains. Second one is operational, which involves identifying the tactics, techniques, and procedures used by the adversaries. Thirdly, strategic, wherein you would be understanding the broader context such as threat actor motivations or geopolitical risk, etc. The next step in this program is for the sharing of intelligence. So, sharing intelligence is critical to maximizing its impact. Defining clear communication channels such as automated alerts for high priority threats ensure that threat intelligence feeds directly is fed into your workflows such as SIEM solutions for security operations or vulnerability management systems for IT teams. Additionally, it is important to engage with industry peers through platforms like ISACA or Certain for sharing and receiving the intelligence. The last step in this cycle is for the continual improvement. So, a TI program is not static, it needs continuous refinement. So, the organizations should establish a feedback loop by gathering inputs from the teams to improve the processes. Post incident reviews will allow you to assess how well TI supports threat resolution. Regularly evaluating and updating the data sources to ensure they remain relevant and accurate would be beneficial. You should focus on tracking the KPIs like mean time to detect MTTD and mean time to respond MTTR to measure your program's effectiveness. Lastly, you should focus on investing in continuous training for your teams to keep up with the evolving threat landscape. By following these steps, you will be on your way to establishing a robust threat intelligence program that strengthens your organization's ability to detect, respond to, and prevent the cyber threats. As we have talked about establishing a threat intelligence program, now let's explore the two primary approaches for gathering and implementing threat intelligence. The first one is the manual approach, and the other one is the automated approach. Both have their advantages and specific use cases, and understanding these will help you choose the best strategy for your organization. So, the first one is the manual approach to threat intelligence. So, the manual approach involves human analysts collecting, analyzing, and sharing threat intelligence through traditional methods. This process is typically more time consuming and resource intensive, but can provide a high level of detailed contextual intelligence. Herein, analysts manually gather the data from various sources like open source intelligence, threat feeds, internal systems, and reports. And the analysts then carefully analyze the data which is collected, often correlating it with the internal data to identify potential threats or vulnerabilities. Since the process is human driven, analysts can customize their approach based on their knowledge and the specific threat landscape of their organization. The next approach we have here is the automated approach to threat intelligence. So, the automated approach leverages technology to streamline and accelerate the process of collecting, analyzing, and sharing the threat intelligence. It uses specialized tools and platforms that collect vast amounts of data and provide real time insights, allowing organizations to respond much faster to emerging threats. Automation tools like threat intelligence platforms to continuously collect data from multiple sources, including threat feeds, social media, and internal logs. These tools automatically analyze the data and prioritize threats based on predefined rules or machine learning algorithms. Automated systems can trigger alerts or even directly initiate actions like blocking IP addresses or isolating the compromised systems. So, moving ahead, as we have talked about both the approaches, let us now discuss the challenges and how these approaches can help. So let us explore here some of the key challenges organizations face when using a manual approach to threat intelligence and how automation can help or offer effective solutions for each of these challenges. So, firstly, as we talk, the first challenge we have in case of the manual approach is for the time. The manual approach is very time consuming. So, the threat intelligence activities such as data collection, analysis, and decision making require significant time and effort. With a manual approach, teams can often spend hours or even days analyzing raw data to detect the emerging threats. This slow process can lead to delayed threat identification and slower response time. Now, how automation can resolve this? Automation accelerates the entire process by collecting, processing, and analyzing large volumes of data in real time. Tools such as threat intelligence platforms can instantly detect patterns, making the process faster and more efficient. This leads to quicker identification and response, minimizing the impact of the potential threats. The next challenge we have here with respect to the manual approach is the resource incentiveness. So, manual threat intelligence efforts require dedicated teams of skilled analysts to sift through massive amounts of data, which can strain resources. With limited manpower, it becomes difficult to keep up with the volume of alerts and emerging threats, increasing the operational cost. Now, how automation can resolve this? So, automation reduces the strain on human resources by handling routine tasks such as data collection and preliminary analysis. This allows security teams to focus on more strategic activities like advanced analysis and incident responses, optimizing resource usage and reducing the operational cost. The third one we have here is the human error. So, with manual processes, there's always a risk of human error, whether it's overlooking critical threat indicators or misinterpreting the data. These errors can result in undetected threats, false positives, or missed opportunities for mitigation, leading to vulnerabilities that attackers could exploit. Automated systems rely on predefined rules, AI, and machine learning algorithms to analyze data consistently and accurately. By eliminating human intervention in routine processes, automation minimizes the risk of errors, ensuring that all potential threats are detected and addressed in a timely manner. The next challenge we hear is for the limited scalability. So, as the volume of threat increases, a manual approach becomes less effective. The growing number of alerts and potential threats can overwhelm the analyst, making it difficult to process data quickly and thoroughly. This lack of scalability limits the ability to manage and respond to large scale attacks or complex threats. Now, how automation can resolve this? Automation offers scalability by efficiently handling large volumes of data and alerts. With automated systems, organizations can continue to process increasing amounts of threat data without requiring additional manual effort. This ensures that your threat intelligence program can grow as the threat landscape evolves. The next challenge is for the delayed responses. So, the manual approach often results in slow threat detection and response due to the time needed for data analysis and decision making. This delay can give attackers the opportunity to exploit vulnerabilities and cause damage before the threat is mitigated. Now, how automation can resolve this? So, the automated threat intelligence systems can trigger real time responses to identify threats. For instance, when a threat is detected, automated tools can immediately block the malicious IPs, isolate infected systems, or apply patches without waiting for human intervention. This quick, real time action helps mitigate threat faster, reducing the impact of potential attacks. In summary, while the manual approach to threat intelligence presents several challenges such as time consumption, resource intensity, human error, limited scalability, and delayed responses, automation provides effective solutions that enhance speed, accuracy, scalability, and overall efficiency. By leveraging automation, organization can create a more robust and responsive threat intelligence program. Now that we have discussed the challenges associated with the manual approach and how automation can help address them, let's dive deeper into the automated threat intelligence concepts and explore how it can play a pivotal role in detecting and mitigating digital risk. So, before moving ahead, let us discuss what is automated threat intelligence. So, automated threat intelligence basically refers to the integration of advanced tools, platforms, and technologies designed to collect, analyze, and act on threat data with minimal human intervention. Through the use of predefined rules, machine learning algorithms, and artificial intelligence, automation enables systems to detect patterns, identify emerging risks, and generate actionable insights in real time. The core advantage of automation is its scalability and speed, allowing organizations to swiftly adapt to the ever evolving landscape of cyber threats. With automation in place, security teams can stay ahead of the curve, detecting threats more efficiently and accurately. Now, at this point, I will hand over the session to Suyesh, who will take us further through the next steps and elaborate on how automated threat intelligence can further enhance our ability to detect and address a digital risk. So, over to you, Suyesh.
Thank you, Sakshi, for setting the stage so thoughtfully and providing such valuable insight into the challenges we faced in cybersecurity today. As you mentioned, the digital landscape is becoming increasingly complex, and staying ahead of emerging threats requires not just a vigilance but a proactive and informed approach. This is where cyber threat intelligence become a critical component of modern security strategies. Cyber threat intelligence is not just about knowing what threat exists, it's about understanding their context, relevance, and potential impact on an organization. It's about transforming raw data into actionable insight that help us predict, prevent, and respond to cyber risk effectively. So in today's session, we'll take you through the core principles of CTI, how it's fit into the broader cybersecurity ecosystem, and how organization can use it to reduce vulnerabilities and enhance their defenses. So if you talk about the cyber threat intelligence, so it's basically like carrying the external attack surface and digital risk management nowadays. So if we talk about also that we have this associate attack guard solution where it actually helps you to it's provide you the external cyber threat intelligence into a very contextual approach where it continuously evolves and monitor your all of your cyber threat ecosystem as well. This unified approach encompasses advanced real-time monitoring like your asset discovery and the vulnerabilities detection and the AI recommendations. Also, it helps you to detect the multiple like brand intelligence and like phishing domain threats, your credential leaks, and ROG application detection. And also, it will provide you the AI-driven recommendation on each steps to reinforcing your cybersecurity defenses. So if we talk about like why it is used, basically, we have seen recently there are the multiple vulnerabilities and threats that has been into the wild, and most of the organization are publicly like exploited in those scenarios. One of the vulnerabilities I just want to recall about like move it file transfer vulnerability. So this attack affected 100 of organizations globally due to unpatched file transfer servers. Sensitive data was exfiltrated from system by the multiple APTs and that were publicly exposed and is insufficiently monitored. Also, there were the multiple phishing campaigns were going on, as we have seen at the time of there was the issue named as CrowdStrike BSOD, there's a blue screen of death, where there are the multiple patches were present on the different fake website, the lookalike website, and which affected the multiple organization on the same. So why it is important to basically to monitor all of these threats continuously? So it's basically like it's provide you a good details like who is posing threat for your organization and how it can affect your brand as well. So before like to when it comes for the exploitation, you are able to come at least like you minimize threats before they occurs into your organization. So one of the step, if you talk about ASM and DRM, so how they effectively like have their you can say they monitor and it provide you the valuable insight on the same. So external attack surface basically it's identify your publicly exposed assets, and if they are vulnerable or not, if they are publicly accessible directly, and how many domains and subdomains are currently present, is there continuously effective solution were placed, any kind of shadow IT assets, bucket and repositories. So if you're talking about the vulnerability intelligence, so when it comes to the assets, so after the monitoring, so how the solution actually works after the monitoring, so it's basically provide you the detailed insight on your port and services scans, your web vulnerabilities, your SSL scan, and your powered AI powered remediations, which helps you to prioritize like to patching your assets. If we talk about the brand intelligence, to monitoring the phishing domain, the ROG applications, any kind of source code leak happen for your organization, and for the or maybe the credential leaks happen, the social media monitoring, the web defacement, also the threat insight, which helps you to provide you the threat feed, different kind of CV tracking, IOCs, any kind of security advisories were placed. So vendor risk lookups is threat insight will like play you very good in details. And talking about the malware intelligence, it's helps you to identify the any kind of malware campaigns were going on, URL file monitoring, the different tracking of the IOCs, and it helps you to provide the Yara rules, which helps you to detect and if any kind of activity is going into your organization network system as well. So deep and dark web is basically is provide you the dark web intelligence, open source intelligence, APT groups, sensitive data leakage, compromised credentials. So this is our dashboard for the SRC attack guard, which helps with the ASM and DRM solution. So if you talk about the external attack surface, there are the servers, leak data, open ports, and services. It helps to identify the hidden assets, known assets, shadow IT, impersonating assets as well, and also the third-party assets. The external attack surface include all the digital assets and organization exposed to the internet, such as website, API, IP addresses, cloud instances, and even forgotten subdomains. ASM provide continuous visibility into these assets, ensuring that vulnerabilities are identified and mitigated before they can be exploited. So coming to the vulnerability intelligence, how solution affect and provide you the vulnerability intelligence for your organization, and it helps your IT infrastructure assets. And so basically the vulnerability intelligence focus on detecting, analyzing, and prioritizing weaknesses in your organization infrastructure. This includes vulnerability in software, misconfigured system, and insecure protocols are being used. So it helps to you. So it how the solution effectively detection of vulnerabilities across IT systems, and also it's helped the prioritization of risk based on severity and exploitability. Actionable insight for timely remediations. Brand intelligence monitor digital channels to detect impersonation attempts, any kind of phishing campaigns are going on, ROG application present on the different marketplaces that target an organization, reputation, or their customers. This proactive approach ensures that threats to be brand are addressed quickly. So, detection of phishing domains and impersonation attempts, monitoring of social media and app marketplaces for ROG activities, protection of customer trust and organizational reputation. So coming to the third insight involve aggregating data from diverse sources to identify emerging attack vectors. SRC attackers use this intelligence to provide organizations with real-time alerts and detailed analysis. And how the malware intelligence play role? This platform analyze files, detect malware families, and provide JARA rules for enhanced threat detection. It identifies tactics, techniques, and procedures used by the attackers provide detailed report for informed decision making. So how it helps to monitor your ecosystem as well. So it addresses a critical area of cybersecurity together. They provide a robust framework for defending against cyber threat by enabling organizations to maintain visibility across their digital footprint, detect and remediate vulnerabilities in real time, protect their brand and customer from phishing and impersonation, gain early warnings of threat from underground ecosystems as well. So how basically, like, to see associate guard in action, we are offering a free threat assessment report for all the MOS subscribers. So you can scan the QR code on your screen or visit link to request your personalized report. This report include insight into your vulnerabilities, threat exposure, and proactive recommendations. So as the cyber threat landscape continues to evolve, proactive measures are more essential than ever. Automated threat intelligence offers a comprehensive approach to identify and mitigating risks before they escalate. So thank you for your time today. I hope this session has provided you with valuable insight into the key components of threat intelligence and their relevance in addressing modern cyber threats. I now welcome your questions and look forward to further discussions. Thank you.